Hey world! Tomorrow, we, the United States, will elect a new president. Now, I'm 18 years old, and that means that I will be voting for the first time, and I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys wondering who I'm going to vote for. Now, I'm not really keeping it much of a secret right now, but tomorrow I will be voting Barack Obama for president. Now, that little nugget of information has already been out there for a while. No, the reason I'm making this video isn't to just tell you who I'm voting for, because, I mean, you probably already knew. No, the reason I am making this video is to explain why I support Barack Obama. So yeah, let's get crack-a-lackin'. I don't like to think of myself as being blindly partisan. I mean, yes, I am a registered Democrat. I tend to agree with Democrats more than I agree with Republicans, but I also try to maintain as open of a mind as possible. For example, here in Nebraska, our senior senator, Republican Chuck Hagel, is retiring. If he weren't retiring, however, I'd probably be voting for him. Not because I agree with him on a large number of issues, but rather because I admire his integrity and his willingness to stand up against what he sees as wrong, even when it's unpopular to do so. While a candidate's positions on certain issues like immigration, taxation, economics, etc. certainly matter, what matters more to me, especially when we're dealing with an executive position like the presidency, are personal qualities. Now, I'm not talking about things like airy-fairy, lofty rhetoric or having a touching life story. No, I'm talking about things like temperament, managerial skills, and intellectual curiosity. I mean, think about it. There are, for example, a lot of voters who will vote for president solely based on their candidate's position on abortion. While yes, the president does play a part in the abortion issue with their appointment of Supreme Court justices, one president's appointment of justices is not enough to significantly change the abortion issue. This applies to many issues. The president does play a small part in how we face the issue at hand, but the fate of any given issue does not rest in the hands of the president nearly as much as most people think. The point I'm trying to make with all this is that even if you would disagree with Obama on some issues, when voting for president, at least how I see it, there are much more important things to consider. These last 8 years under George W. Bush have not been real great for America and have done enormous damage to how we are viewed by the rest of the world. For me, the most important issue this election is who can best repair our standing in the eyes of the international community. I mean, we are the most powerful nation in the world, that's a fact. But in order for our power to mean anything, we have to maintain the respect of the rest of the world. So which candidate will best repair our standing in the eyes of the international community? I don't think there's much question. Obama. Let's think about this. John McCain wants to continue most of George W. Bush's policies. I mean, you can think whatever you want about that, but the fact of the matter is that the continuation of George W. Bush's policies is not a popular idea internationally. If we were to elect John McCain president, the world would, by and large, see his election as the American people failing to bring an end to the George W. Bush era. In turn, our continuing unpopularity in the world would make international relations very difficult for a President John McCain. Obama, on the other hand, is wildly popular internationally, and in the eyes of the international community is seen as America's great chance to redeem itself from these last 8 years. Restored favorability in the eyes of the international community would once again allow America's power to be used to the fullest. Obama, frankly, would be a much more successful chief diplomat than McCain. So that's the international side of things. Now let's talk about domestic governance. When we talk about domestic governance, we're talking about the president's role as chief executive, essentially CEO of the US government. Now, a good CEO has comfortable control of their staff, an understanding of their competitors, a vision for their company's future, and a plan to make that vision a reality. When have the candidates ever been in a situation where they've needed to display those leadership qualities? I know! This campaign! Presidential campaigns are no small operations, dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of campaign offices throughout the country, advertising, organizing, mobilizing. In watching how well a candidate runs their campaign, we can see how well they are likely to run the country. When it comes to the CEO leadership qualities I mentioned before, throughout this campaign, Obama has demonstrated superiority to McCain on every single one. Control of their staff, where the McCain campaign has been notorious for its behind-the-scenes fighting and has often leaked valuable campaign information, the Obama campaign has demonstrated a unity in purpose and has been airtight when it comes to private campaign information. understanding of their competitors. Where McCain has provided a constant stream of unsuccessful attacks against Obama, Obama has been very deliberate in his criticisms of McCain and has been much more successful. Vision for the campaign's future. Where McCain has focused almost entirely on advertising and attacks that affect the polls in the short term, Obama has focused on building the strongest ground organization in political history, an endeavor the benefits of which are lasting and in the long term. Having a plan. Where the McCain campaign has not had a consistent message for more than a couple of months, the Obama campaign has had a consistent message throughout this entire 2-year race. I am of the opinion that Barack Obama has run the strongest campaign for president in the history of our country. If Obama wins, knock on wood, if Obama wins, and if he runs his presidency anything like he's run his campaign, he will be an excellent president. So there you have it. There it is, in a nutshell, why I will be voting tomorrow for Barack Obama for president. If what I've said makes sense to you, I'd ask that you please join me. I'm Dan Brown, and I'm out. But more importantly than that, this fool's gonna be out. If you like what you just saw, if Dan put you in a state of awe, subscribe to him and click the orange button. It really means something. If you do that, that'd be really cool.